You're listening to WSOU 89.5. I'm Caroline, and I'm joined here with Ian Regal. Regal. Ian Regal. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Would you like to explain what you're doing?
Yeah. So I'm here talking about Broke Out West, which is a documentary travel series that we're going to be kicking off on June 30th, which is when we're leaving. We're going to be heading out and seeing the country. Me and my fellow co-host, Jeremy Gillespie, we're going to be riding motorcycles. We're going to leave from LBI, and from there we're going to be talking to individuals and small business owners and organizations about what they've been doing to get by. What's happened since the recession, how they've been able to stay afloat, and ultimately what their vision of the American dream is. And, we're, like I said, leaving from LBI. I think the furthest west we're going to be is San Francisco. Okay. And then we're going to kind of do the turnaround.
So what do you hope to accomplish most out of this whole trip?
Well, out of the trip, we're really hoping to see America, and not just from my own personal perspective, to kind of break down some of those stereotypes, I guess, for lack of a better word, that I have about certain places in America. That's what I'm hoping to accomplish personally, and by filming it and making a travel series out of this is to share that with folks from at least that perspective. And then again, seeing what America is to different people, and hopefully changing my perspective all in all on, what it is to be American. And
you kind of hope to break down exactly what the American dream is, right?
Hopefully so, yeah. I think, I have done a little bit of, like I mentioned earlier, talking to people about the American dream. That American spirit is still there. And so the dream might not be what it was, but I think people still have a certain sense of optimism and hope that if you listen to the news really doesn't seem to be there. So you get all these kind of negative stories, but nobody's really talking to the individuals who those numbers represent. And that's a hope too. And I hope that, that will be the ultimate message, is the focus on the people, and the story that creates the narrative. So I've been doing a lot of research on interesting attractions, and our producer, who's with me holding the camera, just off microphone there, she's been doing a lot of the heavy lifting with locations and people, and researching who is out there and what small businesses are there, and really finding a lot of those those out of the way places, people that you wouldn't necessarily think of when you think destination place. Right? We in fairness, we do have some of those bigger kind of locations,
right?
But yeah, I think it's more about the smaller places, the out of the way places that you probably wouldn't have heard about just living here in New Jersey.
I think that's great though, because like on the Travel Channel, they do focus on food or really exotic destinations, but never really on the people.
Right.
So that'd be great to show. Do you have any doubts about the trip?
No, I'm fully 100% confident. There are challenges though, right?
Of course.
So riding a motorcycle is dangerous. Every time I'm out, somebody's not paying attention, right? So there's usually some sort of hairy call somewhere around, right? And then you multiply that by another motorcycle. And so that's dangerous. And we're an independent outfit. It's a 5-member crew, 2 hosts, 3 crew members. And so being an independent outfit, we're basically self-financed. So getting there and back again on our budget has been challenging all through pre-production. I think we're pretty much spending money before we have money. And speaking of the financing, we do have an Indiegogo set up. So we've had a bunch of great contributions by folks, which is really rewarding and really gives me the confidence, and that's where I think I'm speaking from a place of confidence, just the support that we've gotten, that other people do believe in it. So we, Indiegogo, Broke Out West, little plug, if anybody was interested in supporting. I think that's going to run for another 30 days or so.
Okay. So if people still wanted to help out. Okay.
So if people still wanted to go on and support, we will be up even after we've left on the trip. And whatever your support level is, you'll get the swag that we've set for that particular support point. So yes, I'm confident we'll get there, aside from some of the dangers that are out of our control.
Okay. And you've also got these really cool stickers.
Yes, I think that's for the $10 support level, you get a bumper sticker, I'm pretty sure, and then from every support level thereafter. So no matter what, you get a nifty bumper sticker. Like
Will you be leaving these around America?
Yes, we're going to leave enough behind so we can make sure we cover them. And this is going to be a limited edition, I suppose, because now I, myself, and Jeremy have different haircuts than are on the stickers because we did this promotion shoot before. So maybe that's worth something someday. Who knows?
Great.
I'll sign one.
Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Well, so I'd like to interview you, if that's okay.
Okay.
You're a junior or senior now? You're the news director here, right? You're a big wig, so you're a junior? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, so you've got at least another year, unless you do the super fifth year. Right.
Yeah. 2 more years.
2 more years,
I'm going
okay.
to a junior and then
you're going to, okay, great. So, and I assume you're majoring in communications.
No, actually,
interesting.
Diplomacy with Russian and Chinese major.
Oh, so you've got a future.
Hopefully.
That's great. Hopefully. Yeah. So, do you have your game plan set up? Do you have your kind of like your 5-year plan?
I don't know. I mean, I like to travel, so.
Well, that's great as a diplomacy major then.
That's really where I'm hoping it will take me. So.
Interning?
Yeah. Well, not yet. I've been looking for an internship.
That's the secret, I think, of college. The more I've reflected on my years in college, the more the numbers do prove. So you get a bachelor's degree, you're going to be better off than if you don't have a bachelor's degree, right? So statistically, especially if you hit hard times. But from what I've found, the best thing in college isn't so much the book learning that you do, it's the connections that you make.
Yeah.
So really it's an education on how to network, I think, college, and how to set up those connections and how to rely on people. Yeah. So I recommend to everybody in college now, if I could go back, I'd spend much more time in those conversations before class and after class and interning.
Right.
Yeah, which is the new currency, I think. Internships.
Well, actually, my program, we have to have 2 internships by the time we graduate. So
perfect.
Definitely have to start that.
Yeah. And so this might be a personal one. You don't have to answer it. But as far as your time at Seton Hall, you have student loans?
Yes.
Yeah.
Plenty.
Don't we all?
Plenty.
And how long do you think it's going to take you to pay those back? You must have an idea of how much you hope to make, right, when you graduate.
Yeah,
so based on that, how long do you think you're going to be under that burden?
In all honesty, a good portion of
your adult life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to think of that now and see how I'm going to budget. Once I get out of college, of course. Right. Probably not going to be able to go out, have my own apartment. So.
Right. That's really tough. So I left college with my degree, and immediately went back into master's program, right? Switched master's programs, right? So I ended up with a media studies degree. But I spent a lot of time in between, and I'm a teacher by trade, so I'm an educator. But I spent a lot of time, once the recession hit, they pretty much laid off the majority of the department that I was hired with. And I spent a lot of time looking for another teaching job, thinking that, well, I've got this teaching license and everybody needs a teacher, right? And just could not find a job for 2 years. So did a lot of, I worked as a day laborer, worked as a tutor, haul dirt, that kind of thing. I worked for I loaded boxes in the back of a truck, not to name corporations, but it's interesting because my mentality at the time was, well, the bachelor's degree was supposed to be the thing, so I guess the master's degree will be the thing. So that's where, at this point, where all my loans come from. It's an interesting place to be.
Yeah. I mean, that is the big question, I think, for a lot of students is, do you just stick with your bachelor's? Do you even go to get your master's? Because that's just going to be even more money.
Right.
And if you take time off in between, then that's a whole huge gap,
Yep.
It's confusing.
Right. Yeah.
Hopefully, by the time you graduate, you have it figured out.
Hopefully, you're right. That's the hope for everybody, no matter what degree they're looking to get. I just found it interesting that it seems to be that I think the focus has been on just that paper, and instead the focus should probably be on more of the experiences and the people and those connections.
Right.
I mean, if I could give anybody advice right now who's still in college, it would be to make as many connections as you can and not to be afraid to branch out and wear many hats. That's what saved me, I think, from having to go back home, I guess, after living on my own, wearing many hats, and doing what it takes. And I think the one thing this country has going for it as far as its workforce is that people want to work.
Yeah.
I don't think people are afraid of work. I don't think my generation, I don't think your generation expect things to be handed to them. And so, yeah, we'll complain. And that the system does seem to be, everything does seem to be against us and where we are and where we sit in the economy. But, I've seen some people really bust their butts, to get it done.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's actually funny. The other day, someone said to me, they were like, your generation, you've been handed everything. And I'm just like, I don't agree. I mean,
right, like what?
I know so many people just doing internships and they're not even paid,
Right.
But we do it because we're going to work
hope,
for it,
right?
Yeah.
The hope that this will be the break, and it doesn't always work out. And so then
Yeah.
you find yourself at a certain age or a certain point in your life where you're just bouncing between unpaid gigs and you're still making coffee for somebody else, which is a shame and it's sad. But the fact that I think folks are willing to then have that internship, which a lot of them are basically full-time jobs, when you put all the hours into it, and then come home and take on another job, whether it's a part-time job or full-time job. I think it speaks highly of the character of a lot of people.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And good luck on your trip. And I look forward to even doing an interview after.
That would be
trip.
terrific.
That'd be really
yeah,
great to
I'd
see
love
how
to
it all
come back.
goes.
I'd love to share some stories from the road.
All
yeah.
Right, great. Thank you.
All right, so you're welcome. Check out brokeoutwest.com. If you've got a couple dollars in your pocket you want to support and be a part of the documentary, we've got an Indiegogo campaign up, and the more we can raise, the more content we can create, and the more of this country we can show. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.